G'day everyone and welcome to the Martial Arts Business Success. We're at episode 89. Goodness.
Yeah.
So Phil, what are we talking about today, mate?
Well, we're going to talk about sales objections. At the end of the day, we're all selling something. We're selling memberships. We're selling ourselves. No, not in that way. But we're selling ourselves, our brand, our personal brand, our business. We're selling ourselves when we're on the floor. We're also selling ourselves in that sales process as well. So, what happens when someone objects to the sales? I guess, that's the thing. What type of objections might there be, Graham, in that sort of initial sales process?
Look, it's one of those ones that's sometimes hard because from experience, the truth is somewhere that they tend not to fess up and tell you, it's too expensive, or I can't make the timetable, or I've got too many sports.
Like they say, I can't make the time, but it's actually the money, or vice versa, too much sports. Yeah,
that's right. And I guess it's part of that disqualification process. I think we talk a lot about in our podcast is through the sales process, you really got to try and make sure that you're doing things and kind of weeding those people out and really kind of getting the nuts and bolts. They're really the kind of the most qualified people for the role, really, for that sales role. So I guess for us, we like to make sure that you really just drill down, ask lots of questions. We talk a lot about diagnostic selling, For those guys who may not have heard the term before, it's basically asking a lot of different leading questions, getting the person to answer, but then in your own mind, you're understanding really what's going on behind the scenes, Sometimes asking, what do you do for a job? I don't have a job. I just work part-time. I'm a student. Not that you want to simply just make a decision from that point, but allows you then to be able to maybe negotiate those questions around it to, answers those objections before they pop up.
Yeah. So let's just go, to the normal ones. We're never going to know if it's the truth or not, but what would we say if someone said, geez, it's a bit expensive, I don't know, if I can afford it, what would you say?
Look, I guess it's something that for us, we would go, okay, so what is it about the cost that you're finding hard? Is it the monthly cost? Is it the fortnightly cost? Again, trying to ascertain that gap. Or again, what were you expecting? Try and find out, because sometimes you don't have to justify the whole total amount. For example, Phil, if you were thinking it was only going to cost $65 a fortnight and it's really $85 or $95, whatever it may be, it's only that $30 gap that we've got to justify. And again, rebuilding that value. You really got to try and dig deep and find out what it is about that cost. Rather than just going, okay, it's too expensive, too bad, I'm out. Okay, well, what is it that you're finding challenging there? And how can we try and offer some solutions? Or again, rebuild up the value of the product so that the value outweighs that cost versus investment. So there's a lot of fact finding that you've got to do in there. Look, I understand that some people with families, when there's multiples in the family and stuff like that, can be quite a challenge for them as well too. Trying to give them options is really the key factor. And we've done this quite a few times. Sometimes we put it back to them and say, look, if it's not within your budget, we will try and find a solution. And that may not be with our school, dare I say it. We're not afraid to be able to push someone on and recommend another dojo, because we want to see everyone training in martial arts overnight.
Absolutely.
But sometimes they just aren't the right fit. And we often say that, we don't want to be affordable for everybody. And that's not a negative in me saying that. It's just we value our upper status and our upper echelon in pricing, but also service providing. So if you've got a scope and it's too affordable for everybody, you've got to be inundated and you can't perform at that high level that you're looking for.
I think something we've also done in the past and still do in the present is, we don't like to compare ourselves to anyone, but people also need a comparison to justify, I guess, because when people think about martial arts, I'm just assuming they still think that we might teach in our garage and it's just a hobby for people, where they don't realise that it's an actual professional business. And we have 50 staff and they have families, they have houses. They take this very, very serious. It's not their side hustle, it's not their side income. So I think relating it, especially now I've got 3 kids in Graham, you're the same, and we now take our kids to swimming lessons. And our daughters do gymnastics and it's dancing and they do and all that. Now, it's hard to compare things to other sports but if you look at all those other industries or other sports or all other activities, and I don't know where everyone's priced. I know we're priced quite high, but if swimming lessons, in Australia is a very important life skill.
Yep.
If you don't learn to swim, there's a huge risk out there because there's so many swimming pools and so many beaches. So you've got to learn to swim. It's a must, isn't it? So when it comes to comparing ourselves, we like to compare ourselves with things like that. It's a must. Swimming is a life skill. Martial arts is a life skill.
Definitely.
Now I know in here in Western Australia, for my child to do a 20 or 30 minute swimming class, you're still looking at $30, $40 a lesson, plus the other kids as well. When you compare it to that and you go, well, I believe that we're teaching a far higher level of life skill, and we give them much more opportunities to train.
Yep.
And we tick so many more boxes. Yeah, we don't teach them to swim, but we teach them to be safe. We teach them to be respectful. We teach them character development and life skills. When I compare them to that, for me, it's like a no-brainer decision.
That's right. Look, I guess it's one of those things too, mate, that we understand at what point that we can't go any further with that particular client. You can't save everybody, and we understand that with the way that marketing works nowadays, you get a lot more people coming in, a lot more tire kickers. There are going to be objections. We need to be steadfast on what we do and not just crumble to somebody saying, no, I can't afford this. I know that part of our process with our guys is for every no, you're closer to the yes. As much as we don't want to have too many no's within our organisation and how we do our sales role, but hey, it is part and parcel of it, So cost is one thing. What are some of the other challenges that we know our guys are facing at the moment?
Well, definitely time. I mean, even ourselves with kids, 3 kids ourselves, it's hard. It's a struggle because, you want them to do football and, they've got schooling and homework and there's all these other things. There's always going to be a time objection at some point, whether it's initially or eventually. There's going to be some, I don't have any time, or now, I've got too much homework, or this or that. So I guess, what we've got to try and bring it down to is the benefits of making the time and how making that time is actually going to help you, give you more time or more skills and abilities mentally, physically, emotionally to be able to adapt in those other situations.
Yeah, for sure. Look, something that is important to mention, all these questions that we're talking about, these objections, our guys are trained to, as I said, diagnostic sell, ask all these questions in this initial intro process, during their trial, just leading up to that sales process. Because at the end of the day, if they walk in day one and you ask, what else do you do with yourself? Do you do sports or this, that, the other? Straight away, okay, I play footy. What days do you play? So you can start to guide around those potential objections. We've had times where students have gone, look, I can't make this particular class time. I'm 8 years old. We've even allowed students to come into an older age group because in the short term, while their commitments were obviously clashing, we're able to offer that solution, get around that little hurdle, got the ball flying, and in the end, they ended up going back into the normal time slot when that commitment changed. But it's not just going, too hard basket. Can't make the time. Well, what options do you have? What are your best times? Ask lots of questions which will help you get a better answer and be able to solve those dramas.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to finish with this, and Graham, get your point of view before we finish up with, at the end of the day, I truly believe if you can drill down to one of 3 things, and if you can drill down to all 3, you're going to increase your sales, you're going to increase your conversions from prospect to student. Now, these 3 things are things that you need to show the future client, the future student, that by training here at your school is going to either save you or make you more money. So somehow you've got to figure out how you can show that your school, your business is going to eventually save them or make them more money. Now, if you can get that touch point, you're going to get a massive tick. Yeah, of course, you're going to save money or going to make money. Okay, you're not going to make money from training in martial arts because you're paying for it. But by training with us, a professional facility, you're going to save money in the long term. Because you're not going to be chopping and changing in uniforms and this and that. Not only that, if you can tick the box of saving time as well. So time. So we've got money, we've got time. Oh, guess what? These are actually their objections. These are their main objections. So if you can get them before they even have an objection early on, then we're pretty much squashing the objection way before it even comes.
That's right.
And then you know what happens as well is they bring it back up. You might have squashed the objection early, but they bring it back up again. So then you need to drill down even deeper. If you think about it like this, the iceberg syndrome. So what's above the water and what people see is one thing, but what's underneath is the real reason.
Yeah.
So people will come to you for this surface reason, but while they're really there, is drill down deeper. So we had number one, save them, make them more money. Number two, can you save them more time? Number three, the kicker, if you can get all three, you're going to convert more people, is can you help them with their health and wellness and relationships? They're the three things that every human wants to improve on. They want more time, because guess what? Once you spend it, you can't get it back. They want more money, because again, guess what? Once you spend it, you can't get it back. Or if you save money. And can you improve their health and wellness and well-being and their relationships? Maybe you can give them more friends. Maybe you get them feeling better about themselves, more confident, more, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can drill down to those three things, I guarantee you'll double, triple, quadruple your sales. It's that simple.
Wise words there. Like anything, team, it's about you, going forward and just overcoming. Ask lots of questions. Really, that's probably the biggest thing here, is ask lots of questions, but also have the answers to be able to show and build that value. It's one thing just to ask a question, and if you don't do anything with it, well, that's no good. But ask the questions and then obviously build and build and build. And like you said, Phil, if you can tick those three boxes, man, watch out. You'll be bursting at the seams. So, all
right, team. Well, thank you for listening on another great podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stuff. Get this education out there. Give us some feedback, whether it's good or bad or ugly. It's all good for us. We need to know what we can give you that can serve you the best. So please give us the feedback we need so we can give you the education that you need.
Hey, just before we go, guys, I just want to have a quick shout out to our crew at Hyper. Obviously, I'm sure you guys who are listening and whatnot know that we're a big fan. We work with the guys regularly. So don't forget, click on the link that we provide here. Type in TIMA, T-I-M-A, and we'll get the discount provided in that. Great content, great stuff there. Plus also too, we're giving you guys a bit of a sneak peek. Later this year, we're actually going to be teaming up with Hyper and putting on a business development, instructor development, and student development day. So if you're in Australia, hit us up on the email, admin@tima.com.au. We'll tell you all about that. It's going to be great fun. You even get a chance to come and see us live and
I'll tell you what, even if you're overseas, you won't want to miss this event. This will be a massive event, and it will help you get the results that you want, both as an owner, as a student, and everything in between.
Yeah. So guys, don't forget, hit us up. We'll keep you posted as we come close to the date, but looking forward to absolutely smashing it.
Take care, guys. We'll see you on the flip side.